Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Tammy here. Um, so I went to the gym today, and I'm doing this because I got to jump on to a business training here in about 20 minutes. So hopefully I don't go too long today. But I just was like running in, and I wanted to do this because this actually occurred to me while I was on the elliptical. And so if you didn't see my last video where I was talking about the mission of aromagenomics and revolutionary aromatherapy, check it out. It might be long, and if you take it in bits, I think it's very digestible and worthy of listening to. Anyway, but that said, I mentioned the insights that I get when I go to the gym, and I've been doing this for years. I started practicing this, gosh, over a decade ago when I was swimming and would want to go a little bit further, and then realizing what it took for me to do that, right? I've been reading this book, Relentless, and one of the things that he talks about in there is written by Tim Grover, and he is a premier athletic trainer. He also works with business leaders, and the book is Relentless: From Good to Great to Unstoppable. And his point early on in the book is, physical strength is only, physical dominance is will only get you so far. It's mental dominance. And that's the reason why I've kind of branched off into heart disposition. It kind of goes along the lines with, it's under the umbrella of synergescence because it's how everything works together. And aromagenomics focuses primarily on the chemistry, and heart disposition focuses on the emotional component. And so that said, these two actually this comes together, and this is the reason why I'm talking about it here. So on the elliptical, I have, again, my most of my life has been a big internal dialogue where I am always self-checking, not from wanting to annihilate myself and to beat up on myself. It's more of kind of going, what are you up to, and what are you doing this for? Notice I avoid the question why. It's more about what is this for, because then that moves me forward as opposed to kind of looking backwards. And so today, I always go in with kind of an agenda, like I'm going to go for so long, and then I have in my mind, well, I'm going to start at this resistance, and then I'll go, and then I'll kind of create a pattern because I always do it manually, and because I like to be in control of some things to the best of my ability. I can control myself, right? Um, so that said, I have an idea of what kind of pattern I want to use in the way of resistance, and so I change it up every time I'm in there. Uh, and so I had one thing in mind today, and then I kind of switched over. And so this goes into what I was talking about the other day, which is the ability to kind of navigate the strategies within a plan. So being adaptable. And bear with me here. You'll see why this is about how this has to do with aromagenomics. Um, so that said, I had, I had my strategy, willing to adapt within that strategy. And but I've noticed there is a particular pattern in my mind that says, I can go, like, for instance, I can go a particular resistance for 10, 15, 20 minutes straight without a problem. I just turn on the tunes and we're going. And so without fail, I can definitely kick out 20 minutes straight at one resistance, even if it's a higher resistance. And then all of a sudden, a short while later, if I switched into the next mode of whatever I'm going to do, but generally towards the end of the workout, I've reached the point where everything, I have to be changing it every so often. I like to sometimes it's like every couple of minutes. Other times, like today, it was like, well, I'll go for a length of a song. And so the first thing that went through my head was, what are you doing to yourself? What are you giving up for? I mean, are you just really bored with this? What's going on with you? And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, I'm not actually bored. But what I can say is that if, I'm going for the long haul, at some point you start to feel the fatigue. Okay. You can feel the endurance kind of sputtering. Um, and so for me, changing those things more frequently instead of writing it out like another, like going, okay, well, I said I was going to do this for 20, I said I was going to do this for this and this and this, like for great blocks of time. I I will go for so long, and then all of a sudden, towards the end of the workout, like last 10 to 15 minutes, it becomes more of a change out, consistent change out. But it's not because I'm bored, it's because I'm noticing my energy levels are beginning to diminish. And maybe you might call it boredom. I mean, maybe that's another thing to even look at. I mean, really, what is boredom? Okay, boredom would be the equivalent of running out of steam, running low on energy. And so our attention levels diminish and we just don't have that to keep going, right? So changing things up for me towards the end of that workout becomes more of an engaging activity. It keeps me engaged. It keeps me paying attention. Okay, I said I was going to do this at the end of this song. So now I'm even listening to the song. I'm like, okay, I don't have much longer to go in the song, so I can really keep it going. And then the next thing I know, the end of the song is, and now it's time to change. Or if it's like every couple of minutes, I'm watching the clock, right? And so, oh, okay, I only have a minute left at this one, and so I get to change it. So this is another reason why I go on manual, truthfully. I mean, I made a joke about wanting to be in control, but in manual mode, I have the opportunity to make those adjustments to keep me engaged. I don't have anything else telling me what I'm supposed to be doing. I get to make the decision. Therefore, now I am engaged in my outcome. That is the whole point to this. And what I realized is we have this relationship to the idea of change. Change is bad. Change is a stressful. Change triggers so much, and many people. I only know one person. He was a former client of mine that he thrived on change. He loved change, and then he used to make jokes like, "Because I always talk about this, and it's no wonder I always have change going on in my life." No, it's like no, life is about change. It's all about our relationship to the idea of change. Change isn't bad. I mean, I know people who follow numerology and like they get into 55 and 5 and 555 and 5555 and they're like, "Oh no, I got oh my god, big changes are going." Changes are happening all the time. Changes are happening to your face right now. Change is happening. So the thing is can we allow change to be the engagement factor that keeps us present? Because we have to be if we know that things are changing or there's going to be change and we have a say in that change, we have the ability to generate changes to maintain our, and so this is what makes it so fascinating, whether you're building a business or whether you're taking care of your health. Those slight changes keep you engaged. They keep you they maintain your momentum, because keep in mind, like I said, when I start to feel like I'm running out of steam and my endurance is diminishing. By the way, I love this stuff, and no, this is not a paid commercial. This is just, I love this stuff. But when we feel that diminishment of energy, and we know that there's a change coming up that we are initiating, it brings us back into that moment. It causes us to pay attention to what's going on so that we can be instrumental in making the next move. Okay, that's the engagement factor. And that keeps the momentum going. So at least it does for me. I don't know about you. Maybe you should give it a try. But I know that, as I said, when I'm coming down to the final minute or the end of a song, I know that there's a change about to come. So I want to get the most out of that moment. I want to get the most out of that song. I want to get the most out of that current step. And then because the change is coming, and then I'm not going to have another opportunity. And everything's going to change, right? So what if we came at life like that, realizing that we could actually embrace the changes that are coming, knowing that this too shall pass, and getting the most out of it, leaning into it and getting the most out of it. Wow. And maintaining your momentum, maintaining, moving yourself forward, moving in the direction of progress. Okay, so here's an interesting factor, or fact. It's not a factor, it's a fact. The body's constantly changing. Because look at it this way, you guys. And it's changing for our benefit. We don't like dis-ease. Well, then get over the dis-ease in your thinking and your worrying. Please go read my recent blog post on synergescence on the ultimate guide. Relax your grip. I'll put that link in the box below. But it's about surrendering to in order to generate ease. Surrendering to the change, okay? Because the body is always changing and it's adapting according to the information coming in. And we are exposed to so many chemicals. And if it didn't change spontaneously, it would actually, we'd be dead with all of the stuff that we're exposed to. But the interesting thing is those slight changes within the system create changes that we can sense, whether it be a pain, whether it be fatigue, whether it be brain fog, any host of, maybe sleep disturbances, bloated in the belly. There's all kinds of things that are notifying us that there's been systemic changes that have occurred. That is to bring our attention to it so that we can lean into it, so that we can actually gain momentum with getting past it, being instrumental in restoring ease. And maybe it's because you've been at the computer forever and your body's just like, I can't deal with this anymore, and you're not paying attention to me, you're not taking a break. But this is the point I'm getting at, is if the body wasn't adapting, and if change is so bad, we'd be dead. I mean, not to disrespect anybody who, those people who have lost their lives. I'm talking about those of us who are facing challenges in life, the summons to show up, and distressed because of all the change that's occurring or that's potentially going to come, or. And what I'm saying to you is that all of the changes that we're experiencing are moments of engagement. So instead of running and hiding and withdrawing from it and being pissed about it, how can you lean into it and be engaged by it? What can you glean at that moment for your own advantage and the benefit of others? And this is the point. This is exactly what's going on. So let's go back to the body and all the changes that are occurring within the system. And no, we don't have control over those changes, a good portion of them, because as I said, we're being inundated with chemicals without us even realizing it. Whether you're, in the vicinity of somebody who's just smoked an e-vape, or perfumes, or industrial cleaners, paper factory fumes, you name it. Okay, we're constantly exposed to all kinds of chemicals, and so there's changes that are occurring within our system, and we don't realize it. But then we do, and we do because of the symptoms. Being aware of how we feel differently today versus yesterday. Let's just say, for instance, yesterday you were like walking on sunshine, and today you feel like you just want to crawl back under the covers. Well, what changed? What happened? And how can you engage in that? How can you bring yourself back in order to progress? Because, as I said, the body is always changing for your highest good, even if you don't like the results. And if you don't like the results, that's your moment a moment of involvement with that change. And now you get to lean into it, you get to take it over here, and this is where oils come in. Okay, because for as much as the body is trying, it's not moving past survival. And so therefore, we, as the awareness component to our wellness, have the ability to introduce oils that help foster alignment, which is where your strength. I actually said it. Let me see if I can find it here. I can do it quickly. It's something I wrote this morning. Let's see here. No, not that. Not that. Here we are. Sorry. It's alignment is the key to fluidity and organization. That's what I was saying. Alignment is the key to fluidity and organization. The more alignment within a person, the stronger and functional they are physically and emotionally, enhancing their experience of life inside and out. This is the joint mission between aromagenomics and heart disposition, is to restore fluidity and organization, which starts in here and then goes back out there. And the essential oils actually promote fluidity because although they do have mechanisms of action, they're not specific in the way that they're attempting to control the body like man-made products are, whether that be a medication or a nutraceutical. So, and please just know that for the most part, I'm not saying 100%, but for the most part, your nutraceuticals are man-made. Even if they say natural, just because it's grown in a lab and it's grown in yeast, it's not the same thing as you would find in nature. This ascorbic acid is one of the ones I can come up with, which is grown in yeast, a yeast culture, is not the same ascorbic acid that you would get from eating a citrus fruit or your other vegetables or other fruits. So just know that. So the synergistic value of that ascorbic acid is going to be different. The chemical reactions that is cultivated in is going to have a different effect on the body than if it were to come from a natural source, a true natural source. So, and that's the foundation for synergescence, which is there's a synergistic value to components that are found naturally together. If that makes any sense. If it doesn't, please say so. But the point is that when you use essential oils, you are creating that fluidity because it's not controlling the body. And it's also supporting the organization for the ability to thrive, meaning that it helps to de-escalate inflammation, slow down the activity of the stress system. It begins to help stabilize the hormonal system as well as the immune system. So it begins to create more of an organization, hence disposition. So therefore now you have a better emotional response to things as opposed to being so inflammatory in your emotional reactions. If that makes any sense. So that said, like I said, I wrote "Relax Your Grip." There are a couple of there is a blend suggestion of oils in that one. Again, which ones I would recommend for. I can't. I just can't. I know that I mean, and I still feel bad. Truthfully, I feel bad because I started out this entire YouTube channel making suggestions to people, and through the evolution of this modality, it's virtually impossible just to make generalized suggestions because your system is uniquely different from mine, which is different from the person across the country watching this video. So, but again, check out Relax Your Grip, and there, like I said, there's essential oil recommendations on that could be a good beginning for you to take a look at and attempt. That said, I want to say something here. I don't know if it's even going to manifest, but I'm going to work on it. One of the things that occurred to me when I was thinking about how much I talk with myself is like, I know I'm not the only one. We all have these inner dialogues, right? I was talking to somebody else at the gym, and he's like, well, I wonder about what this person's doing. And, is there's always these segues, and everything is externally driven, which I thought was very fascinating, where mine is like all this way, his was all out there. And I thought, it'd be kind of fun. Do we have a Zoom call, a Zoom meeting, and we just kind of like a group talk of each one of us kind of sharing a day in our head. Because I told him, I said, God, if I could just, if you could live in my head, because it's almost comical. And he's like, maybe we should just switch. Because, and I thought that's really what it comes down to, because we look at one another, whether it be on the street or on the computer, and we make assumptions about them. Wow, they got it together, or wow, they just really, you know, it can go either direction. And my thought was, how fun would it be? It's vulnerable for sure, and not everybody would need to participate, but at least come and join. Um, but begin to share those thoughts that we have on a daily basis that drive our days, just to normalize it and actually connect us, to begin to see how human each one of us is. And I think that vulnerability would be amazingly powerful. So if you're in, let me know. Hit me up, Tammy@synergessence.com. And I'd love to organize something like that. I think that'd be a hoot. Anyway, you guys take care. I got to jump off and get to my class. I'll see you soon. Bye.